You wouldn't believe what happens when a racist bank guard attacks a black man, then realizes he just punched a secret FBI officer. Watch what happens next, and remember, don't judge people by how they look. Before we start, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Also, post your country's flag in comments section. Let's see from which country people watch our videos the most. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. We have stories like this to show why everyone should be treated equally. You won't want to miss them. The story starts with James Carter, one of the most respected agents in the FBI. A man known for his skill, integrity, and unwavering commitment to justice. But despite his position and accomplishments, James chooses a life of simplicity. Titles, flashy suits, and luxury cars don't define him. He believes in staying grounded and focusing on what truly matters, his family, and the values he holds close to his heart. When James isn't working, you'll find him in casual jeans, often taking a taxi and blending in with everyday people. He likes to keep things simple and real. Today, James is on a mission close to his heart. He's come to the bank to open a savings account for his daughter, setting aside funds for her future education. His daughter's future is a priority, and this small trip is part of ensuring she has every opportunity ahead of her. Dressed in his usual casual clothes, James enters the bank, expecting nothing unusual. But this isn't just any bank. It's in an upscale, predominantly white neighborhood, where everything about the place exudes exclusivity. The clients walking in and out wear polished suits and fine clothes, moving with an air of wealth and privilege. There's an unspoken message in this space: only certain people belong here. As James steps through the doors, he's already catching the attention of the security guard at the entrance. The guard's gaze narrows as he watches James, studying him with a hardened expression. To him, James stands out, and not in a good way. He notices James's jeans and simple shirt, his relaxed manner in this space that requires a certain image. Already, without a word, the guard has made his decision about James, deciding he doesn't belong. In the guard's eyes, James is different, someone who isn't part of the wealthy crowd this bank is used to. For James, this is just a regular day, a quick visit to handle a simple task for his daughter's future. But for the guard, James's presence feels like a disruption to the order he's sworn to protect. Prejudice seeps into his judgment, his assumptions clouding any sense of professionalism. Without knowing a single thing about James, the guard's mind is already made up. James is someone who needs to be watched closely, someone who might cause trouble. Little does the guard know that he's about to make a grave mistake. The man he's judging is far more than he appears. James isn't just an everyday person. He's a federal agent with the power to bring justice to those who misuse their authority. Today, the guard's quick assumptions and prejudice are about to lead him into a confrontation he never saw coming, a moment that will turn his world upside down. As James steps further into the bank, he senses the tension around him. He's been in enough situations to recognize when someone's watching him with suspicion. Still, he keeps his focus on the task at hand, trying to ignore the uneasy feeling in the air. The security guard, however, doesn't look away. He keeps his gaze locked on James, his stance shifting, as if ready to act at any moment. With every step James takes, the guard's glare hardens, his judgment becoming clearer. He isn't subtle about it either. Other people in the bank notice the guard's intense focus on James, some even casting curious glances, wondering what's going on. Finally, the guard decides to approach. "Excuse me," he says, his voice laced with an edge. "What exactly are you doing here?" The question feels less like a polite inquiry and more like an accusation. James looks up, calm and collected, and explains he's here to open a savings account, but the guard's expression remains cold, unimpressed by the response. "You know," the guard continues, his tone dripping with judgment, "this is a high-class bank. People like you usually don't come here." His words hang in the air, loaded with the unspoken assumptions he's making. James holds his ground, replying politely, but the guard's prejudice is too deep. He's already decided who James is, someone who doesn't belong in his world, Little does he know, the man he's challenging is about to show him a lesson he'll never forget. As the guard's gaze stays fixed on James, his suspicion only grows stronger. The air is tense, thick with assumptions and silent judgments. People in the bank are watching, curious but silent, as they observe the guard's stern stance and piercing glare directed at the man who seems different. It's as if every move James makes is under intense scrutiny. The guard takes a step forward, his voice turning sharp, almost accusing. "I need you to tell me exactly why you're here," he demands, as though James's mere presence is an offense. James remains calm, unfazed by the guard's hostility. "I'm here to open a savings account," he answers simply, keeping his tone respectful. But his words do little to change the guard's attitude. In the guard's mind, James doesn't fit the mold of someone who would belong in this upscale bank, and he's determined to find a reason to remove him. The guard's voice becomes louder, his questioning more aggressive as he tries to paint James as a threat. "Are you sure you're not here to cause trouble? People like you, we don't usually see you around here." His words are laced with prejudice, his intentions clear to anyone watching. He's trying to intimidate James, to make him feel unwelcome. But James stands his ground, responding calmly, refusing to let the guard's hostility shake him. People around them begin to whisper, sensing the unfairness of the situation but unsure whether to intervene. The bank staff glance over, some of them appearing uncomfortable with the guard's aggressive behavior, but no one steps forward to stop him. It's as though they too are trapped in silent agreement with his assumptions, unwilling to challenge the guard's actions. James's patience is steady, but he can feel the guard's prejudice intensifying. He knows that leaving isn't an option. He has every right to be here. The guard's attempts to push him out are becoming desperate, his anger visible in his clenched fists and narrowed eyes. Still, James remains calm, choosing not to retaliate. After all, he's here for his family, and he's not about to let a few ignorant words ruin this moment for him. But the guard's prejudice blinds him entirely. Without warning, he steps forward, his hand raised in a gesture of intimidation. James, with years of experience as an FBI agent, recognizes the threat, yet he stands his ground. The guard, feeling emboldened by his own assumptions, moves closer, thinking he has the upper hand. He has no idea that the consequences of his actions are about to spiral beyond his control, a mistake he'll come to regret deeply. James stands calmly, focused on his purpose, yet fully aware of the scene unfolding around him. The guard's hostility has not gone unnoticed, and now the other bank customers are paying closer attention. Their whispers grow louder as they exchange concerned glances, sensing the guard's unfairness. Some begin pulling out their phones, prepared to record as the situation intensifies. The guard, lost in his own assumptions, doesn't notice the gathering attention. He takes another step forward, his voice sharper and more confrontational. "I don't think you belong here," he sneers, his tone filled with contempt. Raising his voice, he tries to make a scene, as if to force James into leaving. "People like you, you're here only to stir up trouble. I won't let that happen." Despite the guard's aggressive tone, James holds his ground, steady and unshaken. With a calm, respectful voice, he replies, "I'm here for a simple task, and I have every right to be here." But James's confidence only fuels the guard's anger, seeming like a challenge he cannot ignore. Meanwhile, James's wife, waiting in the car with their daughter, sees the commotion inside the bank. Worried, she begins recording on her phone, capturing every moment of the guard's aggression as their young daughter watches from the back seat, anxious and confused by what she's witnessing. The guard, completely blinded by prejudice, decides it's time to take action. Without warning, he steps forward, reaching for James's arm to pull him out of the bank. His grip tightens around James's wrist, attempting to drag him toward the door. But James, experienced and composed, stays calm, refusing to resist. He knows how to handle these situations. Years as an FBI agent have prepared him for exactly these moments. At this point, the bank customers begin reacting more openly. Some gasp, others whisper in disbelief, shocked by the guard's aggressive and unnecessary force. Several pull out their phones, recording with expressions that range from anger to sadness, recognizing the injustice of the guard's actions. It's clear to everyone that James isn't a threat. He's a victim of the guard's unfair prejudice. As the guard's grip tightens, James's wife records every second, her heart racing as she watches her husband endure this treatment. She knows James could easily overpower the guard if he wanted, but she also knows he's a man of principle, dedicated to calm and fairness. Instead of responding with anger, James waits, aware that others are documenting every second of the guard's actions, a quiet confidence in the justice he knows will come. The guard, visibly frustrated by James's lack of reaction, makes a reckless decision. Without thought, he raises his fist and throws a punch, his fist connecting with James's face in a moment of shocking violence. Gasps fill the room as people witness the guard's complete loss of control. This is the breaking point, a single action that will bring consequences neither the guard nor those watching could have expected. Little does the guard know that he's set off a chain of events he'll soon regret, a mistake he'll never be able to take back. The room falls silent after the punch, everyone frozen in shock. James, still calm, slowly raises his head, revealing a slight bruise forming on his cheek. The guard, breathing heavily, stares at him, realizing the gravity of his actions. The weight of the situation settles on him, but pride keeps him rooted in place, too stubborn to back down. James reaches into his pocket and, with a calm, steady motion, pulls out his FBI badge. He holds it up for everyone to see, its shine unmistakable. The realization dawns across the room. This man, the one the guard had judged and mistreated, is an agent of the law. Gasps ripple through the crowd, and the guard's face goes pale as he realizes his mistake. His aggressive stance crumbles, his confidence slipping away as fear replaces it. For a moment, silence reigns, the weight of judgment settling over the guard. He tries to step back, but his legs feel like lead, pinned down by his own shame. James's steady gaze never wavers, his silence speaking volumes. Everyone watching can see the guard's discomfort as he starts to understand the depth of his error. The bank manager, who had been watching from a distance, now steps forward, his face a mixture of concern and panic. He quickly apologizes to James, his words stumbling as he tries to make amends. "We are so sorry, sir. This is not how we treat our clients," he says, clearly embarrassed by his employee's actions. But his apology does little to ease the tension in the room. The police arrive, summoned by another bank employee who had witnessed the confrontation. They approach cautiously, observing the situation before them. James speaks quietly to the officers, explaining what happened in clear, calm words. The officers listen attentively, nodding as they piece together the events of the day. Then, without hesitation, the officers turn to the guard, whose hands are now shaking. They instruct him to place his hands behind his back, and the click of handcuffs echoes in the stillness. The guard, once so certain of his authority, is now being led away in shame, his prejudice costing him everything. The police lead him out of the bank, and as the doors close behind him, the atmosphere inside the bank shifts. Relief floods the faces of those watching, and a quiet respect fills the room as they look toward James. Today, they've witnessed a powerful lesson, a reminder of the true cost of judgment and the quiet strength of integrity. As the guard is led away by the police, the entire bank falls into a stunned silence. The weight of what just happened settles over everyone, and the reality of the guard's actions becomes crystal clear. James stands there, calm and composed, his badge now visible to all. Those who had watched with curiosity now look at him with admiration and respect, realizing they were in the presence of someone remarkable, a man who chose restraint and dignity in the face of prejudice. The bank manager approaches James, his expression a mix of shame and concern. "I'm so sorry, sir. We had no idea. Please forgive us." His voice is shaky, his apology earnest, but the damage has been done. James acknowledges him with a nod, accepting the apology, but his silence speaks volumes. He didn't need to raise his voice or act out. His mere presence and integrity were enough to expose the guard's wrongdoing. Meanwhile, James's wife, who had recorded everything, enters the bank with their daughter by her side. She reaches for James's hand, their daughter clinging to her mother, still confused but sensing the seriousness of the moment. Together they stand as a united family, their quiet strength a testament to James's character. The bank's other employees, who had watched silently before, now feel compelled to take a stand. Some of them apologize personally to James, expressing regret for not intervening sooner. Their apologies are sincere, though they come a bit too late, yet James accepts each one with a gracious nod, understanding the power of forgiveness and the importance of accountability. In the following days, the incident at the bank sparks a ripple effect. The video captured by witnesses quickly spreads, shared on social media with messages condemning the guard's actions and praising James's courage. Public reaction is overwhelming, with people from all walks of life standing in solidarity with James and calling for accountability. The story becomes a powerful reminder of the dangers of prejudice, and the world takes notice. As for the bank, they are quick to act. They release a public apology, admitting their failure and announcing immediate steps to ensure that such an incident never happens again. They institute mandatory sensitivity training for all employees, focusing on equality and respect for every person who walks through their doors. The bank also revises its hiring practices, committed to bringing in individuals who value respect and fairness over judgment and bias. For James, this incident becomes a catalyst for greater change. He's approached by civil rights groups and community leaders, encouraged to share his story and speak about justice. Inspired by his experience, he begins working with organizations to promote awareness, using his position to fight against the very prejudice he faced. This journey becomes part of his mission, turning one painful moment into a force for change. The guard's life, however, takes a different turn. The legal consequences he faces are significant, with charges that strip him of his security clearance and any chance of continuing in his career. His actions will follow him for years to come, a lasting reminder of the cost of prejudice. His story serves as a powerful example, a warning to others about the dangers of letting bias cloud judgment. In the end, James's quiet strength and unwavering commitment to justice resonate far beyond the walls of that bank. His story becomes a symbol of integrity, courage, and the power of standing firm in the face of injustice. He leaves the bank that day with his family by his side, their heads held high, knowing that one moment of bravery has changed lives and sparked a movement for justice. The guard's actions led to consequences he could never have imagined. His quick judgment and violent outburst cost him far more than just his job. It stripped him of respect, dignity, and any future in the security field. As he reflects on his actions, the shame he feels becomes a lasting reminder of the price of prejudice, a burden he will carry for years. His life is changed, marked by a single moment of thoughtless discrimination that now defines him. James, on the other hand, leaves the bank with his head held high, his family by his side, and his dignity intact. In the days that follow, the video captured by onlookers circulates widely, sparking conversations far beyond this one bank. People everywhere begin discussing the dangers of judging others based on appearances alone, and the importance of respecting every individual. James's story quickly becomes a rallying cry for justice, fairness, and equality, with his calm and dignity inspiring countless people. For the bank, the incident has exposed a harsh reality, pushing them to make real, lasting changes. The management issues a public apology, acknowledging their role in allowing prejudice to flourish. They commit to reform, implementing mandatory training for all employees focused on respect, equality, and understanding, ensuring everyone is treated with the dignity they deserve. New policies are also announced, creating a more inclusive environment and demonstrating the bank's commitment to learning from past mistakes. This incident has opened their eyes, and they vow to do better. The outpouring of support for James continues to grow with each passing day. Letters, messages, and comments flood in from people moved by his strength and resilience. Many share their own experiences with prejudice, thanking him for standing tall and setting a powerful example. His story becomes a symbol of hope for those who face discrimination, a reminder that justice can and does prevail, even in the face of prejudice. For many, James's actions prove that courage and integrity have the power to spark real change. In the end, this incident became far more than a lesson for one guard. It became a story that echoes in the hearts of all who hear it, reminding everyone of the strength in standing firm for what's right. As James and his family move forward, they do so with the knowledge that their courage and patience have made a lasting difference. This is not just a victory for one man, it's a message that speaks to the world, a powerful reminder of the impact one act of integrity can have. The impact of James's experience extends far beyond the walls of that bank. This single incident has ignited a movement, a call for change that reaches into every community touched by his story. People everywhere start sharing their own encounters with prejudice, finding strength in James's courage to stand tall against discrimination. The bank's leadership takes further steps, issuing statements to the public about the steps they're taking to make their institution a safer, more welcoming place for all. They reinforce their commitment to equality by enacting new policies to prevent such situations in the future, showing their determination to learn from this incident. They even establish a fund to support diversity and inclusion initiatives, a small but significant step toward healing. James's story continues to spread, inspiring countless others to speak out against injustice. Civil rights groups rally behind his story, using it as a powerful example of what integrity and resilience can achieve. James himself becomes a voice in the fight for fairness, working with leaders and organizations to bring about lasting change. For James and his family, life goes on, but the memory of this day remains a source of pride and purpose. They've learned that one moment of courage can indeed spark a movement, a wave of change that ripples out to countless others. As they move forward, they do so with the knowledge that they've made a difference, that their strength has left an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of many. Thank you for joining us on this journey through a powerful story of justice and integrity. James's courage serves as a reminder that standing up for what's right can inspire change, even in the most difficult situations. We hope this story has left an impact on you and encourages you to take a stand whenever you see injustice. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing to our channel for more stories that bring important issues to light. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever seen someone stand up against prejudice? And if you've experienced something similar, we'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and join our community in spreading messages of courage, respect, and equality. Together we can work toward a world where everyone is treated with dignity and fairness. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.